Just want to set a context on how we're interpreting today. So this looks like the strongest team Andy Farrell could pick. Give me a one-word answer quick, just so I know where we are. If this was a World Cup quarter-final, I'm not going to say final, if this was a World Cup quarter-final, who do you think Farrell would pick at 10 today? One-word answer, please. Shane.
Crowley.
Crowley. Crowley.
Crowley.
Okay.
Based on everything that's happened up until now.
Yeah.
You
Okay. So as of now, Crowley is ahead of Prendergast because he's more experienced, he's a couple of years older, he's a more rounded player. So we're to interpret this as Farrell has said, you're my guy at the next World Cup, I'm fast-tracking you, I think you've a higher ceiling. Is that about right?
I think there's an element to that, and not every team is selected on form. You know, Matt, and you'll know that from years of selecting teams and selecting individual players. I think what it seems from the outside that Farrell has gone, this guy needs to get game time, right? I'm going away. It would be, if he wasn't picked in this game, I think it would be almost impossible for Simon Easterby to pick him into the Six Nations. Doesn't mean that Simon Easterby has to pick him in the Six Nations, but it's a live option. So I think that's important. And he's going, right, you may not be the best now, but you could potentially be the best, and you could be the best for a long period. His ceiling is very high. Those clips, to me, what they demonstrated was a player who's not willing to blink first against a defence. Yeah. So the best 10 looks up and there's a game going on. Do you make the decision first or do I make the decision first? And if the defender makes this, if you can ensure the defender makes the decision and as a 10 you react to it, that is the basis of all attacking play. There's
another aspect of this situation whereby Farrell has to manage Jack Crowley's confidence through this situation. And so Crowley was put up for media, for instance, on Tuesday, embargoed until today. That's why he's in your newspapers today. By all accounts, his body language and his mood on Tuesday suggested he knew the writing was on the wall. He's going to go back to Munster, which is not in a great spot. You want to massage him through this as well. I would think he feels fairly peeved. He did just fine against Argentina.
Well, selections send messages, don't they? So what messages can you send Jack?
Yeah.
Which is, go away and work at your game, mate.
Well, see, I think he did well enough against Argentina. I think the message Jack would have received is, I don't fancy you. Whatever you're doing is fine, but I don't fancy you.
Well, but see, Joe, look, over the years, everyone's read so much into these selections. Let's go back 2 years when Australia played this game, the last game in November 2 years ago. Who started? Jack Crowley.
Sexton
who was on the bench?
Sexton injured in the warm-up.
Yeah, but again...
Crowley got the nod,
He is saying, Ross Byrne, OK, I don't think you're going to make it. Let's give a guy time in a game that in the big scheme of things means nothing. If Ireland lose today, it doesn't mean... What means something? Winning the Six Nations. This is I know there's not a friendly, but you know what I mean. There's no trophies on it. But you got to... This is the problem people don't see, as Shane said, as a coach. You've got to give young players time. Sometimes where do you let a player learn?
Sure.
They learn on the field. So this is the perfect day for him. Jack mightn't like it, but that's tough. You got to go away. He's got to work at his kicking game because his running game and his tackling game is great. It's his kicking game, so he's getting a message from that. But I do not believe, and I'm not buying into that. This is Prendergast. He is everything. He's got it for the next 10 years. I don't. He is a very good young player with huge potential. The clips Robbie showed were fantastic. I think he's a wonderful young player.
Yeah.
You got 80 minutes or 60 minutes, whatever it is.
No, fair point. Would you share my interpretation that Jack Crowley should be a touch worried?
No, he'll definitely be a touch worried. And he will be a touch worried.
But sorry, worried that Farrell at just a core level does not fancy him?
Yeah, maybe, but he still has that ability to change Farrell's mind. You made a comment there that Jack did just fine against Argentina.
Well, he did well.
No, he did, but when you've got three good players now vying for a position, you've got to be head and shoulders above the best.
Okay.
And I think, Prendergast has been training very well. He came on against Argentina, played very well. He was very good last week against Fiji. And sometimes these decisions are so small that, it's not hanging in the balance a little bit. And he just has a bit of more momentum.
This is tough. This is the big leagues as well. This is the biggest position on the Irish rugby team.
Without doubt.
Without a doubt. And in rugby. And listen, look what's gone on there in Ireland for the last 20 years. it is most glamorous, most important, most connected to the coach. I would say Crowley, will be disappointed, and I'd say he's concerned. That's part of it. That he's shown great resilience, so far in his career. So I think he certainly has that in spades. There's elements that he has to work and he'll need to work on. I would say, Andy Farrell seems like a brilliant man manager. I don't think it was a good decision to put Crowley out for media when not selecting him this week. I think that was seems like
very
cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah.
But
Very
we don't know the background to that. And then this is a 3-horse race as well. Like Frawley in the summer, won Ireland that Test match, and he had a really poor 10 minutes or 15 minutes against New Zealand, and now he's not even on the bench.
No, it's true. Well, so we'll know a lot more in 80 minutes' time, I think, is the message.